Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am your host, Data T, and this is my channel, The Good Guys. Guys, today's story comes out of Webster Groves, Montana, and the title reads, Police ID Man Killed in Attempted Carjacking, Alleged Accomplice Charged in His Death. What we are going to find is that this is a youth or children are involved, teens, which is, we know this is happening across the country, and I want to talk a little bit about it. But before we do, guys, if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a like, leaving a comment, subscribe. Remember, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and the only way we can get there is with your help. Please hit me on Twitter, on TruthSocial, Minds, all those different types of social media platforms you can hit me on. So let us dive into this, guys. Let us begin.
The shooting is now tied to a car theft ring, and according to authorities, police say two suspects involved in car break-ins and attempted thefts in Webster Groves are actually part of an organized car theft ring. Or officers say while those two were committing crimes outside the hot shots, a man shot and killed one of the suspects because they charged at him. The other suspect, 18-year-old Ronnie Jewett, was later arrested after fleeing the scene. Investigators tell First Alert 4 several police departments across the St. Louis metro say the two suspects are possibly connected to other crimes in the area. Detectives now want you to reach out to police if you recognize the individual on your screen.
Our hopes, obviously.
Before we play what this woman is going to say, okay, I want you to understand something. Crime it has really no face. In some cases, you could say majority of crime comes from black people. No question about it. Black men. Okay. But it has no age is what I really mean. Okay. Because I will tell you that it is an epidemic when it comes to these teens. All right. And what are they going to do about them? Okay. It seems, in my opinion, I really do feel like it's organized. I know that's very conspiracy talk, but check this out. Okay. We have a particular instance that has happened to this woman. I don't know if this is her on the picture, but when you go to read the story, okay, this woman, okay, it says here she was robbed and her keys pursued. They took her stuff. She was carjacked at gunpoint, okay, and the same thing happened to a U.S. congressman an hour before. Now, when the police came, according to this, Ms. Trubb handed over her belongings. The gunman ran to her car and sped away. She called 911 and D.C. police arrived swiftly. As Ms. Trubb had an Apple device in her 2008 Honda SUV that enabled her to track it, she sat on her front stoop with her laptop, 3 D.C. police officers looking over her shoulder as she watched the carjacker's location around the city. Aren't you going to get him? This is what she asked the police. And look what they responded. We can't pursue. They cannot pursue. It says here in D.C., guys, look at this. There have been 827 carjackings so far through October 29th of this year. This year. Now, if you move on to another different story here, okay, what is the solution to youth crime? Okay, and I gotta say, it has to be accountability. I think that's the first thing. We got to start there, making sure they understand that they will be punished. Okay, there was a commenter, okay, who said and responded to why these people are doing what they do. And it says here, so see, this guy's named DC City Guy. They put this comment in the Washington Post. And it says here, kids, especially young males, aren't raised properly. This leads to a life of poverty and crime. They are raised by high school dropout teen moms, have 30-year-old grandmas, fatherless homes, illiterate role models, celebrating a culture of rappers and drug dealers who they watch their moms and grandmamas twerking for instead of being responsible adult. Don't snitch, silence code, but glorify violent lyrics and music that define women as meat that should be used and thrown away. This is the ghetto culture. It's black culture. There is no question about it. Government can't change a broken culture. Hold criminals accountable to the fullest extent of the law, as they do in Virginia, and stop babies from having babies they don't know the first thing about raising properly. Now, this guy was criticized, okay, for putting down a group of people, but this comment, folks, what he said is completely true. That's why you have people, various people, who have said that black culture is trash, okay, because of this. This sums up black culture in a nutshell. I know that's hard, that's terrible to say, but it's the truth. Now, if we go back to this story, okay, and let me put it here, I don't know if there was going to be a solution to this. Check this out. I want to show you this too, okay? Look at this.
Armed robberies around the district. Take a look. This happened last week along 4th Street Southeast. The suspects threatening the victim with a knife and demanding their AirPod, their phone, their shoes, and school supplies. Look how young they are. The victim refused and began to yell. One suspect pulled out a gun. They made off with the items and ran away. That's just the latest in teen violence causing chaos across D.C., a city under siege tonight. Fox 5's Jacqueline Matter has more on the response from local leaders.
Jim, people are calling the crime out of control, and teens seem to be at the center of many of these incidents. Now, city leaders are asking some of the same questions we've been asking as well. What will it take to stop it, and who's responsible? 2 teens now.
Now, I want you to look at this, okay? Look at what this woman is going to say, okay?
In custody after 10 separate carjackings across the district, 7 of them at gunpoint. It's just the
I don't want to go too more about this, okay? But guys, it is insane, okay? It is insane. How in the world do you live like this? And these are always these places under Democrat control. Always these places where it's hard to get a firearm. And that is why we have things like this. And of all places, Montana. Let's move on. Let me play the rest of this, guys. This is getting long. And I'll come back and sum it up.
Is that we will locate other victims of these property crimes and be able to identify them, but also too to identify the individuals that are within this crime ring. And that is our hope. Once we are able to identify more individuals who we suspect at this time, I think that's going to be good for the community.
Congresswoman.
This is John Bommery.
Now, guys, look at what she said, okay? They have to put out a picture so they can identify this joker, okay? I think, in my opinion, folks, okay, really, they should prosecute individuals like this to the full extent of the law, but they don't do it. There has to be a reason why they are not clamping down on these children. Why? And this is the reason why I think it's a conspiracy. I think, in my opinion, they are letting crime get out of control. They are letting crime to get out of control. That way, these jokers with guns these criminals with guns, they wreak a havoc on everybody else. That's why it's and notice when they do, they get a very light punishment. But as soon as somebody defends themselves, they scrutinize that person to the T. Where we, as responsible citizens, some of us have gone and bought insurance so that we don't get thrown in jail. And so that we don't get sued up the wazoo. It is unbelievable. It is backwards. So I gotta say, this problem is gonna get worse. There's no question about it. Okay, but what are you guys gonna do about this? I think I have to maintain. I think it's better to be judged by 12 than to be carried by by 6 people. And you guys know what I mean. I would rather be judged than go to the grave. I think, and time will tell. I hope I'm never in this situation. But guys, what do you think? Good people should be armed. Good people should have guns. For this express reason. You may not even able to get your gun out in time, but guys, you only get one life. You have to preserve it. You have to preserve other people's lives. You have to preserve your family. And the best way to do that is with a gun. Best way to do that is to be armed. Because if good people do nothing, there will be no good guys.